Yeah. 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 Check the mic, 1, 2, this ain't no drill, this is the truth. From Roxas to streets, here the veterans, youth, and the wisdom of ages. Battle hardened and true, combat news on the air, breaking through for me and you. We're boots on the ground, voices strong and clear, cutting through the static, conquering every fear. Monroe County to NYs, our message rings out wide for every soldier, every family standing side by side. Combat news, yeah, here we're the best, no doubt, no debate. Giving power to the people, sealing a brighter fate from the front line.
Welcome everybody. We are streaming live on all of our social media platforms, ladies and gentlemen. And I just want to welcome you to Combat News Wednesday night with my amazing co-host, the Marine Corps veteran himself, Bill Adams. He's here tonight. You know, he's always here. And of course, myself, Sarge Mitchell, in the house, Army veteran. We are proud veterans and proud to bring you some good information tonight. And just a little bit real quick, in New York State, Governor here has recently introduced several initiatives aimed at education, legal advocacy, and financial relief. But before we get into all this stuff and more, with data, we have stuff to show you. This is going to be a little bit of a show and tell tonight. So have some fun with us and sit back and enjoy. But Bill, what do you got to say for our listeners?
Well, I got to tell you, man, welcome to Veterans Open Forum, brought to you by Combat News, where we put veteran policy in perspective. Yes, we do. And Veterans Open Forum is an open group held by veterans for veterans and our special guests. We are not aligned with any political party. Our focus is only veteran issues and who addresses our veteran needs best. We provide a safe space for veterans to voice their opinion about the issues that affect them most. Tonight, we're talking about the state of the state, Sarge. What do you got?
Absolutely. Well, there's a lot of things that happened that she talked about, and I think it's very interesting. And a couple of them I pulled up that we'll get to. And I know you pulled up some data, and we got some good things to show our listeners. But one of the things we have here is that she recently unveiled a plan to establish veteran services clinics on SUNY and CUNY campuses. They said this will provide one-on-one assistance for the roughly 33,000 student veterans in the state, focusing on benefits, navigation, and mental health. So that's one of them there that I wanted to touch on. Another thing is advocacy training. This is supposedly a first-of-its-kind partnership with Albany Law School, launched this month, allowing veteran service officers, everybody knows, VSOs, veteran service officers, across the state to take online legal courses. The goal is to give VSOs better tools to handle complex VA claims and discharge upgrades. Very interesting. And all these topics we will get into tonight with some show and tell here. And another one, the third one I wanted to talk about, and if we can get into more, we will, is the Suicide Prevention Act. A new 3-year cross-agency plan is targeting social determinants of veteran suicide, such as housing instability and financial insecurity, rather than just clinical treatment. All right. So, excuse me.
Hey, that sounds familiar, right?
Yes. So those are a couple things that we want to get into because there's some things we got to look at it both ways. We got to look at the pros and cons of all of this. This is coming down from the government. We have to take that into consideration. So there's a couple things we're going to get into with that. But go ahead, Bill.
Yeah, one of the things, Sarge, when we've been talking about this, it all comes down to how many veterans, right? I mean, every single thing is going to come down to what's the number of veterans, where, and how. So I put this little thing together. It says, in the strategic allocation of federal resources, the data you submit defines the funding that you receive. If you're not on the map, you don't exist in the budget. New York State relies heavily on the American Community Survey, which is the U.S. Census, okay, which identifies roughly 637,000 veterans total statewide and approximately 30,250 veterans in Monroe County. Now, the critical issue is the undercount. This is the floor, not the ceiling. Some officials estimate the undercount at nearly 40%. This discrepancy creates a massive fiscal risk as federal agencies use these conservative census figures to draw maps for competitive performance-based block grants. So if we undercounted by even 10%, we're strategically weakening our position for the next 10 years because censuses are every 10 years. So using a defensible proxy model where we know roughly about 28% of veterans have a service connection and about 25% of those roughly have about 100% threshold, there's about 2,100 totally disabled veterans in Monroe County alone. We way underreport our core data to the Census Bureau. The federal formula is used for everything from housing and development grants to community service block grants, perceive a lower need in New York State, upstate New York. The funding goes where the numbers are. And if our census response is low, our pro-rated share of the federal veteran funding shrinks. We lose out on critical infrastructure dollars to support accessibility, transportation, and specialized community programs like you just talked about. So we're not just losing money for today, we're losing the baseline for the next decade of legislation. The bottom line is simple. We have to treat the census data not as a population survey, but as our primary competitive lever for federal investment. National legislation often dictates the funds flow via formula, which is directly tied to accurate state and county level population counts. Why does this matter in legislation? Because the census is the true source of truth. When Congress debates state block grant funding like veteran issues, like the PFC Dwyer Support Act, they aren't looking at our local stories, they're looking at the census data. That's why it's very important to get the accurate count of veterans so we can get the accurate funding that we deserve here.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Sorry, Bill. I didn't mean to have a delay there. I was just making sure that we were live on the platforms here. I'm just trying to verify with that. I was trying to pull up the chat. And thank you all for bearing with us because this is our second live episode. And I think that everything's going to be moving smoothly. So, Bill, when you were looking up things and you were trying to get, information for us to better help the veteran community, what kind of information did you find that will help us in some of the things that we're talking about? And I'll get to one of the first topics at hand.
All right, so let's look at one quick thing here. Let me pull up
Sorry, it might have been
this data right here. So do you see the Sarge here? So here we are.
Mhm.
This is a page. It disappeared. Hold on.
You're there.
Disappeared. Hold on. Open the table. So this basically shows this is the United States Census Bureau. Okay. I've taken the data, and this is very accessible. You can get it anywhere, right? Just all you need is a computer. And so here is service-connected disability rating status and ratings for civilian veterans over 18 years old and over, right? So here you go. In Monroe County, they're estimating that there are 30,238 veterans in Monroe County, right? They're breaking this down by percentage of service-connected disability. Well, right here, just look at 70% and higher, right? 2,063, they're estimating. Look at the margin of error. It's virtually 11, 12%. It's more than that. It's insane. The error is horrible. So these numbers they're not very solid, right? And what's even crazier is if you look at any of the actual reported data through Monroe County, none of it matches this at all. Not even close. So it's weird that we have numbers in Monroe County that are provided, right? And then we have numbers that are provided from the census. They're not even in the same ballpark. And the money that we're getting is based on these numbers.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why this is important.
So we can always refer back to that. It's pretty much in a nutshell, which is great. What's
also crazy, Sarge, is that you look at, remember we were talking about last time, we were talking about the types of disabilities that they're looking to get, like for this, for the 100% disability for New York State, right? So they're talking about having the ability to give a tax break on your house to veterans who have 100% disability. And they're very specific things. Remember that and. Well, here's the most common service-connected disabilities according to the New York State Department of Veterans Affairs, right? And so not one of these, of the top 10, not one of these even gets close as a criteria for any of those grants. So they're saying that the top 10 most service-connected disabilities won't even get close to any of those grants, so you can't take advantage of any of those programs. That's crazy.
That's interesting. Yeah.
So it's just the way things are written, really, really, like we talked about last week, words matter. Words
Yeah.
matter a
Oh,
lot.
yeah. Words definitely matter for sure. Like I keep propping up my new glasses. I got these from the VA. Look, I'm trying something new, styling. I just got them. I keep pushing them
They
up.
look
So
very sporty.
they got to be tightened a little bit, but that's okay. They'll be all right. They're gonna get there. But yeah, it's just very interesting when I was looking into some of these things, seeing what the state, what she was talking about, because I believe every veteran needs to listen into what their governor, what their county executive, whatever. I don't know what their whoever runs their place of where they live, residence area, they need to figure things out because when it comes down to the SUNY and CUNY campus situation, while many campuses they previously had veteran offices or lounges, these new clinics, I guess, are designed as high intensity, and that's what they say, high intensity service hubs, and they're supposed to integrate state level expertise directly into the college environment. And how the clinics work, unlike a standard student club, these clinics operate at critical pain points during the academic year, such as enrollment weeks and midterms. They bring together people like the state level VSOs, obviously professional veteran service officers from the New York Department of Veteran Services, campus liaisons, so that these are specialized resource people. So what they're supposed to do, the primary goal is to remove the administrative friction that often leads veterans to drop out. It's supposed to reduce I don't even know how the heck the benefit anxiety, I guess you can say, navigating the GI Bill. You know what I mean? The anxiety,
Or
how to do this,
VRE.
how to do that. Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
That is the nightmare of nightmares right there.
Yeah. And New York State tuition awards it. What else do they have? What else do we get? There's a couple other ones, but either or, just navigating the system as a whole. A one-on-one assistance ensures that the veterans don't miss out on money or get hit with the surprise, overpayment debts from the VA. Normalizing a mental health, by embedding mental health connections within an academic setting, it lowers the stigma barrier. A veteran that's seeking a tutor might also be comfortably introduced to a counselor in the same safe space. You know what I'm saying? So it's very interesting. I wonder who they get this, and I'm sure they do their checks and balances. You already know they do their checks and balances. But then another subcategory here shows peer-driven success. The clinics often employ peer mentors, other veterans who have successfully navigated the transition, providing a sense of camaraderie that traditional students' services lack. I mean, as far as from what I hear, there's a lot of great things that happen already in our schools. So are we throwing a lot of money into this? Yeah, there's a lot of money into it. Is it going to be good? Yeah, it will be good. But do they look at the things that, the pros and cons to this, and if this was actually needed? We shall see once this all gets implemented. The academic defense. Since these clinics offer tutoring specifically for veterans, they help bridge the gap for those who have been out of the classroom for 4 to 10 years and may need a refresher support in math or writing. So critics say, let's get to the critics say, because this is what I wanted to ask you now. Critics say the downside of this, while well-intentioned, there are potential pitfalls that veterans and advocates are watching closely. The silo effect, okay? So if all veteran services are tucked away, and we talk about this all the time, are tucked away in a clinic, it can inadvertently isolate veterans, right, guys, from the rest of the student body. This can prevent veterans, students, from integrating into the broader campus culture, which is, to me, and I know to a lot of other people, the key part of the civilian transition when you're going to school. That's something, when you hear something like that, you can't take that with a grain of salt, because this is coming from the horse's mouth, you know what I mean? And it makes perfect sense. One more thing is dependency risks. If a clinic handles everything for the veteran, the student may not learn how to navigate civilian bureaucracies independently. This can lead to a support cliff once they graduate and no longer have a dedicated navigator. To me, I don't think so. I think that sounds like somebody that's soft. I mean, if you know, military and anybody that's a veteran, looking at that, it doesn't seem just because I don't think there'll ever be a dependency risk because of this. So I think that concern can be thrown right out the window. You know what I'm saying? To say that a veteran, just because you're helping them all through college and this is going to be there for them to lean on and to no matter what be there, that they're going to be, you know, oh my God, what do I do now that I get out your mind? We're in the military. So that can be thrown right out the damn window. I tell you that one. So that's one for me there. Resource dilution. There's a fear that by focusing resources on campus-based clinics, the state might pull funding from community-based VSOs that serve older or non-student veterans in the same geographic area. I mean, I think that's case by case. What do you think about that? I don't even know if that even makes sense, to be honest with you. There's a fear that by focusing resources, go ahead.
What say that one again? Because they're saying that because you're going to have somebody on a campus, it's going to take away from the local VSO officer.
So it says there is a fear that by focusing resources on campus-based clinics, the state might pull funding from community-based VSOs that serve older or non-student veterans in the same geographic area. No, I think it's totally separate funding. No, I mean, I don't even know how that even makes. Am I wrong? I don't know.
Well, no,
I don't think so.
You have a veteran service agency basically on a campus that is focused on students, right? Then you have a VSO officer in the county that's focused on veterans. So why would the people in why would the people at the college take the money away from the people at the county? That doesn't make any sense to me. You're muted. You're muted.
Can you hear me now?
There you go.
Sorry, guys. I was moving my mic. But yes, that's another ant in our book because that's not
That doesn't seem right.
Yeah. And one last thing on this was staffing a consistency. If these clinics are only high intensity during certain weeks of the semester as proposed, a veteran experiencing a crisis in the middle of a low activity week might find the office understaffed or closed. I don't think that that's what their intention is. I believe that is more of, they're just saying that's when they're going to focus most of their work is going to be during those high intensity times, not during the, to what they consider high density time or
Who
high
are the
intensity.
people that are saying this? Critics?
Yeah. Critics of yeah. So I'm just trying to, as a veteran, because it's veteran stuff, you know what I mean, figure this out.
Critics.
I think this, as far as staffing consistency, I don't see that a thing because we know that once they fund something, especially for veterans, it is funded. You know, they're not going to say, okay, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. You know what I mean? No, especially for school. But I think what they mean is that they're going to focus their time on the midterms, on the finals, on the when every
registration.
Month when stuff is due. Correct. Yes.
When you have to pay for it, that kind of stuff.
Yes. Yeah. That's what I think. So Bill, when it comes down to how many veterans these kind of things affect, say in let's just use, for instance, our area in Monroe County. How does somebody go about looking that up to try to see how effective and who is actually affected by these types of things? Do you know, is there a way?
One of the most difficult things, the way the data is out there, is that it's in silos. So in order for me to compile the data like I want to, I have to mash up a bunch of different data sets. The census data, the county data, which I don't have access to. Okay, well, I have to overlay that on top of that. Then I would take all the veteran service organizations data, lay that on top of that, so I can get a true statistic, right? That somewhere along the line, I'm going to get a ballpark that's going to give me a very statistical mean, right? So I can figure out I'm right there. So then we can build a model from there on how these things fit. Because so when you say what's a percentage effectiveness of, well, what's the baseline number you're starting off with? Okay, so if you're starting off with as a veteran service officer, right? You're starting off with a number in your head as the number of people you started off with. Somebody else is looking at other data, like the census data, and they're going, well, hold on for a second. It doesn't make any sense to me because these numbers don't compute. So that's why you have to overlay everything on top of it. So no one right now gets a holistic view unless they're doing that.
Right. Right. And I'm glad you said that, because I just want to reassure people that just because you hear numbers is not the same numbers. Two numbers could be right. It depends on what data they're looking at.
It's
Because
different by which AI model you pull up. I mean, literally, it's that crazy. So each one goes out to different sources, pulls up different things, and you get different variances. So that's the way it works. That's why you do it against multiple AI models.
yeah, I mean, because they said specifically 33,000 student veterans in the state. I believe that New York State should have a good number of students. You know what I mean? That's totally different because you're registered, you're blah, 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 blah. So I think that could be a good number. So yeah, some of the things, guys and gals, the concerns, I think, as you heard, two of them, I think you could just not even be concerned about, to be honest with you. Do you agree, Bill? I mean, the other ones you can, hey, it's, is what it is. We got, what else was the other one I have?
Well, you're also looking at, take the total amount of veterans, right?
Mhm.
And then you take that down to just about the ones that are going to school, break those down to just the ones that are going to that school. Okay. So if you keep on breaking it down, I mean, if you're going to Monroe Community College, there may only be 124 people there, right? They're actually going through that particular in this area. You know what I mean? So those 124 people already know there's a veteran service officer in Monroe County. And if there's a supplemental crisis center at the schools they're going to, that's just an additional benefit. And I don't think any other issues along with that are going to be even play into the fact of replacing other offices or no, because it's only a small sliver of the veterans that are going to school in that area to that school, right?
Yes, absolutely. Nail on the head. Ba-ding! That's what I'm
Ba-ding.
talking about. The second thing that we were talking about tonight here at Combat News, and again, thank you all for being with us as we continue to grow. I know Bill and I are always looking for any kind of critique, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Whatever we could do a little bit better, to make your guys' viewing pleasure and engagement better, because what we are here to do is not for, yes, it's for us because it makes us feel good. It's my medicine. I know it's Bill's medicine, makes him feel good to be able to bring information and have a platform for veterans to relate with other veterans trying to navigate life in general, and also give veterans a platform to have a voice. So if there's anything that we can do to make life a little easier, even if you just want to say, hey, great job, guys, please let us know in any of the chats, message us if there's anything that you think we can do better, or to ease up on being able to engage with us. Let us know that too. Anything, it doesn't matter. We're not going to hate on you or hate you because you tell us something or give us some advice. We love advice. We're here together. We are all Combat News. So on that note, if anybody does want to try to chime in and click on the Go Live feature, we'll send out some links to join the studio. There should be a Go Live feature on there to try to join us in studio, guys. So if you guys and anybody wants to be adventurous tonight,
yes,
be the first one to figure it out. Be the first one. Come on, guys.
Somebody hop on.
I know
Where's
somebody
Mega?
could. Yeah, somebody could try to come to Riverside, I believe is how it works. When you click the link and you can come live with us. It's a call-in feature. We'll send it out to everybody to be part of it on our social media.
Rob wants to. Come on, Rob.
Yeah. But
come on, Rob. I want to see your face.
We're going to keep on trying to do what's best and for the veterans. We're going to try to continue to bring the best information, the real information, the information that we know is going to help you guys and your families, because it's helping us and our families. Does that make sense?
So Sarge, do me a favor.
Absolutely.
And tell the audience a little bit about the first episode of Conversations with Sarge.
My gracious, my Lancer.
Come on, man. Talk to me.
Listen. So, yes, absolutely. I like it. So
cool.
Conversations with Sarge has started. Anybody who wants to be a part of Conversations with Sarge, please let us know. But what Conversations with Sarge is a sit down with veterans. One part is a sit down with veterans, talk about their life before the military, why they joined, talk about their life during the military, talk about their life as they transitioned out of the military and as being a veteran now, and everything in between all of those three parts of life together in 1 hour segment. And it's really to just showcase veterans, showcase my fellow brothers and sisters, how amazing they are. I mean, the stories that I have more coming out, and just like Chris Salenzo Chris Salenzo is the first episode that is out. You can check it out. But it is so awesome to hear, Chris, for instance, was a pastor's son, you know what I mean? And talking about how did that go over, you know what I mean? And I'm not going to give up the story. You're going to have to go listen to it. Him talking about what brotherhood and camaraderie when he first felt that in the military. That was that was not kind of cool. That was very, very cool to hear
very
that.
Powerful.
Yeah, stories about what he's doing outside and how art really saved him and shaped him to where he is today, outdoors, hiking and stuff. But what I just wanted to encourage is any veteran who wants to showcase themselves, or if you know a veteran in your life that you believe their story, which I personally believe that's every last veteran, but their story should be heard, please reach out. I have all the time in the world. Just schedule with me. I'm really not that good at managing scheduling too well. I'm getting better at it. We'll work out it together. We're all veterans, so guess what? Where there's time, we'll make time together. But I encourage everybody to please, if you want to be a part of Conversations with Sarge, reach out, because I truly think that every veteran's story is going to help another veteran. I truly believe that just one word that a veteran says, if another veteran can relate to that, they found their person. They found their connection that they've been needing this whole time. I don't care if they hear somebody, they hear Bill's story and Bill talks about golf and they're like, oh my God, a golfer? You know how many friendships and brotherhoods, solid brotherhoods and sisterhoods came from just people that related over golf, related over bowling? So your story, guys and gals, my fellow veterans, it matters. And you're going to touch the hearts of another veteran that says, man, that's my guy. That's my gal. I need that person in my life. How do I become friends with them? So if that's any encouragement to come on the show and to give us an hour of your time, I don't know, man. It's getting me emotional. No, I'm just kidding. But thank you, Bill, for plugging that, because it really is starting to. It means
very, very cool. I love Chris. Yeah. Chris is such a good guy. You know what I mean? He's our photojournalist. I mean, he volunteers his time for us. I mean, he's in the middle of a rainstorm with a freaking umbrella and a camera doing pictures of a golf tournament. That's some crazy stuff, right? So
he was telling us we're crazy.
He's out there. He's hustling for us. So that's really cool.
Yes, and we're showcasing.
Plus his pictures, the one with he did the series where of the chess pieces, and then the whole, that's so powerful. When he gives you the story on that, it's awesome.
Yes, and please watch, because he does have some pictures that he shares of his own personal artwork. You can check him out at Ravenwork Studios. The link is is up there too, I believe. Yes, in the descriptions on our socials. So you can find Chris where you find combat news. And if you need to find Chris and you can't find Chris, message us and we'll give you to Chris. We got his back, but we also have a couple other veterans that we're showcasing. I am going to be posting up soon, but I know there's Lieutenant Colonel Carey, I believe, is going to give us the honor of being a part of it. I believe there's an awesome Marine, Steve. I think he's going to be coming on to tell his story. And you see, I'm feeding into it. I'm egging it on a little bit. You know what I mean? Because, sometimes
promo tease.
Yeah. Well, because sometimes I also believe that a veteran, we're all humble, man. You know what I mean, Bill? Like, we're very humble. Like, I don't want to tell my daggone story, but if someone tells me, hey, Sarge, I think your story can really help the next veteran, I'm going to be like, man, all right, man, I'll do it, So I just hope that even on that bottom base level of just, all right, man, I'll do it for you, people just are encouraged to just hit me up and just say, hey, Sarge, I got an hour next week, can I do this show? You know what I mean? So I can, share my story. Hell yeah, man. I got you. We're going to make it happen, because that's what we do. And it's going to make a difference, Bill. You know what I'm saying? And Thank you for that.
Yeah, no doubt. And one of the cool things is that those little nuggets, there's a couple of words in that interview, they're going to resonate with somebody and they're going to go, that guy right there, he said something I know, I feel, I really get that. And so that's going to galvanize some action. He's
Yes.
gonna join the outside hiking group. He's gonna join the Odyssey project. He's gonna join whatever it's gonna resonate. It's gonna produce action, and that's what it's all about. It makes other veterans feel something, so they feel action,
Yeah.
participation.
Welcomed.
Exactly.
That's key. And
Yeah, man.
also,
So like I saw our buddy Jeff, right? The guy who does the outside group today.
Jeff Klein. Yep.
Yeah, love Jeff, another great guy, right? At the Veterans
Absolutely.
Outreach Center. I was getting my
Yes.
chakras realigned. I love my Reiki massage. And so I saw him, and he's like, "Hey, next time out group." So, Tuesday mornings, if we're not doing golfing, I'm in there. If I'm not,
Oh
in
yeah.
Florida or whatever.
Yeah.
you gotta do it.
Absolutely.
It's
yeah.
cool.
I love that, but I know that I've been hurting recently, and I know that when it was really cold, they canceled it the other day. But yeah,
Yeah,
that's
they canceled golf too through CompUse for the Dwyer thing. That was a bummer. The wind was blowing. It was 6 degrees. Wind's blowing in there. Probably not the most optimal golf scenario.
No, not at all. Not at all. So,
Although tomorrow, you're going tomorrow, right? To the
yes,
Ontario County. Now that is a super cool simulator.
I'm
That's one of the
excited for
best
that
ones
one.
ever. At the very end, he's got it all set up where you can literally see your entire swing, your swing plane, your path as through the ball. Literally, it shows you every single angle of everything you ever wanted to know. It's awesome. It is fun. It also is
I'm
very
excited.
humbling. You're like,
Well,
oh, that's
like
me.
like I told you before, I'm just excited to try to see how my hands work with all this rheumatoid arthritis and stuff now, and to try to see what kind of arthritis grips, the bigger grips I need to play golf, because as everybody knows, golf is the one thing and only thing that is my big therapy. That's my saving grace is golf with my fellow veterans. So I need to do whatever I can to ensure that I'm ready for golf, for my mental state.
Yeah, you got to get
for
your
a lot.
mentals in shape.
That's right. A lot of golf tournaments we do as Combat News. We do a lot of events helping raise money through golf tournaments, which we're happy on. And on that note as well, I will be reaching out, ladies and gentlemen, to your veteran organizations that have events coming up, and we're going to get you guys on the conversations with Sarge and Bill. And we're going to talk to you veteran organizations about what do you guys have planned coming up for for the next couple of months. Is there anything you guys want to put out? I know Sonny Mike has an event coming out here locally.
I was just about to mention that. Yeah.
Yeah, for the Iron Smoke. Go ahead, you pull it up.
Yep.
You might want to pull it up
I'm gonna
for
pull
us,
up
because
here right here. So hold on.
Sonny Mike is the best, and we love what they
I
do.
love those guys.
I'm telling you.
So cool.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, so it says right here, are you looking for a little sun? Want something to look forward to? Do you need to get up out of the chair and dance? Look no further. The Sonny Mike Foundation is hosting our second annual benefit concert, March 22nd at Iron Smoke Distillery from 12 to 6. Iron Smoke is a phenomenal place to listen to music. It's like he's kind of warehouse. It's got like vintage Victorian furniture, and it's really neat. Very fun place to go. And by the way, the whiskey is phenomenal. The bourbon, it's great, So definitely do that.
And it's a great event and for a great cause, obviously. So if anybody wants to go, you can check out the Sonny Mike website. I believe it is linked to our combatnews.org
Yes, it is.
website. So you can check it out.
We'll be
anytime. Yeah, absolutely. We're going to be there. Sorry, I'm just grabbing this off the floor. My dog was kicking it around. So yeah, we have that going on. But yeah, so any veteran organizations that want to showcase what they're doing, need some help promoting some stuff, let us know. That's what we're here for. We want to showcase what is out there for the veteran community as well, because veterans deserve to know. I know a lot of times that it's hard to get through the news, and I just encourage anybody who wants to utilize Combat News to pump out information about your event. Please do. So
the chat feature does work. That's me.
Wait. You got it?
Yeah, so I just chatted in the public chat. So somebody chat with us, please. Talk to us.
I'm going to try to pull up. Where's the public chat? Look at that. I'm looking like I'm brand new in this.
Yeah, so Sarge, as an update,
Yes,
did
please.
on the PFC Dwyer 438 have definitely had more conversations with the Congressman Lalota's office and the team there. I provided them more information. And February, at the beginning of February, when I get back from Florida from the golf trip, is when I'm supposed to follow up with them. They should have made some good strides in getting information to Mike Bost, who is the Veteran Affairs Committee chairman, along with the rest of the committee. So the idea here is they said to me, anything that you can do to get into the social media is to get to the Veteran Affairs Committee to explain and talk about how this might benefit from being realigned. That would be a help. So I've been trying to get, as I can, mostly out to all of the different platforms, everything that I've written, so that people can comment on it and move it towards fruition through the Veterans Affairs Committee. So looking forward to that. It's gotten some legs. We're getting there. So I'm hoping.
That's awesome. No, I appreciate that.
And if we can get this passed for all veterans across the United States, how cool would that be?
It would. That would be good. Can you mention or can you talk a little bit about what that is, just for people who aren't familiar with it, what we were talking about, what it entails?
I can.
Just briefly about it.
I'll do it off the top of my head without any kind of. All right, so basically, there's a bill that's sitting in Congress right now. PFC Dwyer Peer Support Act. It's HR 438. HR 438 was written by Lee Zeldin 6 years ago when he was a congressman in Nassau County. It was written very simply because there was there was a veteran in his area that became like a national hero based on the picture of him carrying an Afghani child across a bridge of some sort. Well, he kind of succumbed to his demons, but there was a fund that was put together, established, so that a peer-to-peer support program in his name would be launched. It was launched in Nassau County. It was very successful through the Veteran Service Office or agency, and they managed it that way. It went expanded to 4 counties and then to the rest of the state. Monroe County is one of the most instrumental users of this grant because we have a very large veteran community. And through our Veteran Service Agency, they contracted with Compeer Corps to manage this peer-to-peer program. So this model in Rochester, the Monroe County model that's working so well, where the state money comes down to the Veteran Service Agency, the Veteran Service Agency contracts with a nonprofit organization to implement a peer support program outside of the clinical or claims VA process. It's very important. So
Yes.
That process, the way it works here, wasn't the way that the bill was written. The bill was written so it would be a VA-based grant program. No bueno. Anything that's like that is lost in the weeds and not good.
Bamboozleness.
Right, and that's not the intended model that actually is working. So everything that I've been posting is talking about here is the PFC Dwyer model that works here in Monroe County. B, if you would like to have this bill actually passed, make these kind of changes and tweak it a little bit so it becomes a federally granted state block grant that comes down based on the number of veterans, like we're talking about, why these numbers are so important. Okay, because when this block grant comes down from a federally funded agency, right, it's going to hit New York State. It's going to be doled out by county by the number of veterans. So if we have a bad veteran count, we're going to lose money. So then those monies get distributed to each veteran service in the model that works, the bill we're proposing. Give the money down to the veteran service agencies. Now, a smaller veteran service agency who has a less of a population for veterans will probably do the peer-to-peer support themselves, okay? But a larger veteran organization that has more veterans in that county would then behoove of them to outsource that to a nonprofit organization that specializes in that soft peer-to-peer kind of support. So that's what we're proposing. We're talking to Congressman Lalota, who is now the person in Nassau County who's sponsoring that bill, and talking with his office to tweak it a little bit so that we can get it passed for the country, so that everyone on this channel can listen to us now talking about a program that's working in their area too.
Absolutely. Because, as we started the spaces and we were doing spaces on X, Let me just backtrack just really quick. We are going to switch it up. I think is the consensus already is that we're going to go back to having an X space on Wednesdays and then also having our podcast day another day. So I think a lot of people miss us, everybody. I mean, we miss everybody too. We understand the transition. It's hard, sometimes to, as far as like how we had it engagement wise. But so now we know that we don't want to leave a fallen comrade, right, Bill? I mean, that's what it boils down to. We don't want to leave a fallen comrade. So we're going to go back to what we were doing, what was so effective, what we know is helping save lives, and you guys are helping us as well. We're going to go back to that X program, but we're also going to run another, run the podcast like we do, but this will be on a different day. So we can be with you guys on Wednesdays like we have been for so long while you guys supported us. So we're going to go back to that. Yes. Go ahead, Bill.
When the audience speaks, right? That's why you put the poll out. When the audience speaks, you go with you go with the team that got you there, right? You go with the dance with the person that you took to the dance, right? You leave with the person who took to the dance. Exactly.
Well, because we feel bad. And a lot of the information that we have, that we're talking about, and we'll get back to the topic here. Another one, we want that back and forth. And I know people will comment and will share, but we're going to get back to that. Sorry to jump back and forth, but yes, Bill, when you started mentioning that, I wanted to just remind people that we are going to go back to that. I think it's already a consensus. But one thing, Bill, if you don't mind, I want to get back to this thing that Kathy Hochul has talked about, if you don't mind, this advocacy training, which is that first of its kind partnership with Albany Law. So I have the same kind of information, the good, the bad, the ugly critics, however, these people wanted to be characterized, classified, homogenized. I don't all that. So the Veterans Justice and Advocacy Program, it's a partnership, guys, between the New York State Department of Veterans Services and Albany Law School. It's the first of its kind initiative launching in May 2026. It provides 100% online law school level training, okay, to veteran service officers, VSOs. While VSOs are already experts in VA paperwork, this program gives them the legal teeth typically reserved for attorneys. I like the way that sounds, How the training works. The program is a 5-month academic certificate. This first one will be May through October 2026. That treats VSOs like law students. So I'm hoping that it's all VSOs, so like, the DAV and everybody else gets to be, involved. Anybody who's a VSO. I'm sure that's how it is because it doesn't say otherwise. Core curriculum will be courses in Introduction to Law and Legal Methods in Administrative Law. Specialized electives. VSOs can choose tracks in mental health law, medical malpractice, or Medicare, Medicaid. Professionalization. It offers a formal certificate of completion. Okay, guys? They're going to get a certificate of completion after they do this, after a couple of months. And they pass, obviously. I hope it's not try again. But they'll get their certificate of completion for Albany Law, even for VSOs who don't have a prior college degree. So if you're a VSO and you're like, man, I want to do this, but I didn't, have a college degree, boom, says right there, you don't have to have a college degree. So that is pretty daggone good. How this helps the veteran. The VA system is becoming more legalistic, which that's horrible that they even use that term for us with our claims and all that kind of shit. But meaning a simple claim often requires a legal argument to win. They say that this is going to have better win rates on appeals. I agree. I mean, if they're making it so the veteran or so the person representing the veteran, which is the VSO, is more in tune and to the kind of things that these claim sharks, these attorneys, these claim sharks that they're, stopping us out there. Most VSOs are great at initial filings, but lose steam during complex appeals. This training teaches them how to extract relevant information from legal sources and build a brief that a VA judge is more likely to approve. What do you think about that, Bill? Do you think that is a reason, better win rates on appeals?
Right, because I think the way that sounds to me as a veteran, that's going to be our guy at our county level. Right, that's going to be Nick, our guy.
It says all VSOs.
A veteran service officer works for the county.
Well, well,
look up veteran service. Are they using the word veteran service officer? Because if they're using veteran service officer, that is a county-based person. That's Nick.
It just says VSO. So what are the people
That's
from the
New York
DAV that
State
do
That's
claims?
Nick. That's Nick.
So
That's
what are the people
literally
that do
Nick
claims from the DAV?
from the DAV.
Yeah, like Shannon and them. Aren't
Yeah,
they
but that's
veteran
not
service
they're not
officers?
a VSO. They're not a
What are they?
VSO. They're not a veteran service officer.
What are they?
I don't know.
I
But
thought they're
they're
veteran
not
service
a
officers.
if you look at the vet, it says look up veteran service officers.
Yeah, it's
The
just
first around us is Rochester Veteran Resource Center, 447 South Ave.
right, which is the VOC. That South Ave is the VOC.
447 South Ave. It says New York State
Right.
Department of Veteran Services, Rochester Veteran Resource Center.
Right, so that's the VOC, not the VSA. So I believe anybody who does claims are veteran service officers, aren't they?
I don't
know. Can you verify? Can you pull that
I
up?
typed in New York VSO. The first thing that comes up is New York State Department of Veteran Services. A veteran service officer is a county-based person that does claims assistance. Monroe County Veteran Services, U.S. Veterans Affairs, Veterans Outreach Center, Wayne County Veteran Services, VA Medical Center. Anybody who does claims, it looks like. But Veterans Affairs Department,
It
Veterans
says
Outreach Center.
Yeah, it says Disabled Veterans
I
of
don't know,
America.
man.
Disabled Veterans of America, its own professional veteran service officers, VSOs, who are specifically called National Service Officers to help veterans get VA benefits. So they're veteran service officers, but they're called National Service Officers through the DAV, is what it says. But it says, while DAV is a VSO, other VSOs like VFW, American Legion also exist. These are to help veterans get VA benefits for free, acting as free accredited representative for claims. So I believe that they're the same.
So it sounds like anybody who's doing claims.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Okay, there you
And
go. That's cool.
I'll follow up on. Yeah, as long as it's like that. That's what I was saying. I think that then the way that they're looking at it, I think that that's okay. If it's given to everybody who's doing it, I think everybody needs to be on the same level playing field.
Right. So my thing is this. If you are giving that level of attorney-like training to someone, do you think that that person is also the person that you would give the peer-to-peer counseling training to? Probably not so much. They don't have the same kind of skill set, right?
Right.
So that's
Yeah.
the argument for taking it out of that and giving it to a specific team of people that specialize in that.
The free attorney level help. Usually, if a claim gets complex, a veteran has to hire a private attorney who takes a cut. Have you ever heard of it? I think that's pretty rare that somebody. Right, but I'm saying if your claim gets denied, I hope you're doing it through a veteran service officer if your claim gets denied, because then they can help you if it gets complex. If you're going from a veteran service officer, ladies and gentlemen, to an attorney, you have a problem and you did the wrong move.
Because the redetermination is done through the person that did your original claim, which should be like a DAV or your veteran service officer at a county level or one of the other ones like a VFW. But the reason why they're getting this training, right, is so that when they do the original claim filing, they get all of the boxes checked up front so that it doesn't create a redetermination. Once it creates the redetermination or the process where you get denied and then you have to go do it again, that's where it gets more complex, because now you have to respond to what they're saying and prove more data, most likely with a nexus and all kinds of things like that, where that's where it gets complicated. I can see that person. Yeah, it makes perfect sense for that person to have all kinds of training to be as good as they can as an attorney-based level, because they're dealing with the claims with specific language that's based in law. Makes perfect sense.
Absolutely. Yes. And then another thing they say is ethical protection. The program includes a specific course on government ethics, ensuring VSOs are held to a higher standard of conduct and confidentiality. All right.
Right.
We'll
Your personal information is sacred.
That's what it should. Yeah, absolutely. So now some of the people that say, how could this hurt the veteran? Are you ready for this, Bill? Let's do it. See if this is going to actually Do they have a valid point? Let's just see if they have a valid point, because we're all about giving the voice to the veteran out there and seeing if they have a valid point. How could this hurt the veteran? So people say. There are risks when non-lawyers are giving L-I-T-E,
Yeah.
training. Yep. The half-expert trap. A VSO might feel overconfident after a 5-month course and attempt to handle a case that actually requires a licensed attorney. If they miss a critical legal deadline or statute of limitations, the veteran could lose their right to appeal forever. What do you think about that?
Those are all valid concerns, right? But are there a lot of those during is there a statute of limitations? I don't think I've ever heard a statute of limitations ever mentioned in a claim.
No, and I think there's always backdate, right? I mean, if they backdate, how can it be a statute of limitations, right? I don't know.
Right.
I don't think so. Because you hear 80-year-old guys that didn't have any claim until they're 80 years old.
Yeah, exactly. So that statute of limitations doesn't make any sense to me. Right now, as far as maybe being overconfident, right? As far as maybe being overconfident and thinking that they could handle something that might be a little bit more than, maybe it's the Peter Principle kind of scenario. I could see that happening for sure, right? And listen, you would hope that when they're taking these courses, that one of the things that they're going to say is identify when you can't help this person.
Let's hope, man.
Please, this is the level of training we're giving you. Anything above this, no bueno, go this way. And listen, when was the last time any claim actually went to an attorney?
Yeah, right? I never heard of one going from a veteran service officer and someone's like, forget this, I'm going to get an attorney. I would hope not.
When did an attorney ever have to, in the claim process, when did an attorney ever come in? I don't understand that.
You can go to an attorney to file your whole claim.
Yeah, but why? Because that's going to cost you money.
Yeah, but you'll get it done faster.
According to who?
People that I've heard that used lawyers, they said that, I don't know, maybe it's just dumb luck and whatever, but I've just heard that they've got it done in a more reasonable time. So it was worth it, is the words that they've used.
Huh. I'd be interested to have a conversation.
Things
with Shannon
just fell down
that.
over there. I got to put my thing back up. But yeah, that's
I'd be interested to hear what Shannon had to say about that, because what percentage of her claims have ever gone or needed an attorney?
Well, no, because she does it all the way through. It's what
that's what I'm saying.
When they give up, they're giving up on the veteran service officer and saying, I'm going to go get an attorney instead. You guys can't file my claim right, is what they're saying.
You sure?
Yeah, that's what it's saying. They specifically said that is one of the reasons. It says if they miss a critical deadline, statute of limitations, the veteran can lose their. Yeah, that's what they're talking about. Given law light training, half expert. Yeah.
Okay, I can see them missing a deadline that would impact, right? What deadlines
if the claim gets complex, a veteran has to hire a private attorney who takes a cut of their back pay. But doing this, a law-trained VSO would provide the same level of advocacy for free. Well, yes, that'll be great. But we just need to make sure that the VSO is providing great, just because you get a certificate. Yeah, just because you get a certificate doesn't mean it's your, your ship.
That's a very interesting question to me. How many claims went so sideways that they ended up in litigation, where you're literally suing the VA, saying no, you guys messed up, it's this? That sounds, I can't imagine that being a large percentage. I don't know, I've never heard of it, so I don't know.
Another thing they say is ethical protection. The program includes a specific course on government ethics, ensuring VSOs are held to a higher standard.
Like military intelligence.
Ensuring VSOs. That's just the one funny thing I just had to read again, because that's what it says up there on the top of the main thing. Pregnant. And I was like, but that's coming from the state. This is coming from our state. And that's why I just had to say it again, because it was just as we're going through this. So one other thing that they have here, educational gap. While the program allows those without degrees to participate, the complexity of law school coursework might be a barrier for some VSOs. I can see that. This could create a two-tier system where veterans in some counties get elite law-trained VSOs while others get standard service. I can't say no to that. We are just, I mean, it's,
That
how can
sounds
they
like
be met?
that sounds like, hey man, do you think that every VSO is going to be exactly the same? No chance. There's going to be a rating. I mean, just like
No,
every
what
person
they're
does
saying
anything.
is that what if the VSO, it's not required, so a VSO doesn't have to go to it. So if a VSO doesn't do it, or if a VSO doesn't pass it, that doesn't mean they're not a good VSO. But that's what they're trying to say. That's how I took it.
It sounds like to me that they're saying the guy or gal didn't assimilate the data and then use it to the veterans that he's working with benefit, as well as the next guy. The next guy assimilated the data better and uses it better to help his veterans better, therefore creating a pocket of excellence where you have a pocket of ordinary.
Or if he even just went to it or not.
Or maybe he just didn't understand it and then can't use it as well as the next guy.
True. That says also misleading expectations. A veteran might see the Albany Law logo on a VSO's wall. Well, I don't know why that would be in the first place, and assume they are talking to a lawyer. I doubt that. This could lead to a veteran asking for and receiving advice on non-VA issues like divorce or estate planning. Nah, man, now y'all shooting for the man. What are you guys doing, man? You just throwing shit at the wall to see what sticks now at this point.
Exactly.
You trying to see? Let's see if Sarge is going to read this one.
Dude, they put some.
Yeah, I read it.
Down.
I read it. That's crazy. That is crazy. You got the knife hand, bro. That is crazy. Gal, whoever. That is nuts. That is nuts, man. But listen, we're going to go right into it because I know we're reaching the hour mark, but we're having a great show. We're going to go to the last one, which is the suicide prevention plan. We take this very seriously. And we will end it with this. But before, real quick, I want to see if you can hear this real quick. I want to see if you can hear this here. Can you hear this?
Yeah, turn it up. There you go. There you go.
Listen real quick, guys. You got to listen. We're going to talk.
Giving power to the people, sealing a brighter fate.
All right. I had to just play it one time for us because it's just so cool. All right. Now that we just had our feel goods real quick, let's get into the suicide prevention.
Oh, well, hold on.
Right?
Hold on, Sarge. Hold on. You got to tell everybody that's a Sarge original right there.
That's the Sarge theme. That's the theme song for Combat News, man. You can't find that nowhere.
You guys are a rap artist here.
They call me the ghostwriter. No, just kidding. I used to actually, believe it or not, funny story. You can ask my wife. I do have a CD of some tracks that I made. I have some.
You told me, man.
And some of them, I remember the one thing I was like, Iraq and back, you know how I do. I thought I was like, cool. Yeah, it was pretty wild, but whatever.
But that is a good song. That should definitely play as an intro and a play out.
We will. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, we will. Now that I figured out how to do all the sounds and stuff, like I said, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to keep going and being organic. So I hope you guys enjoy us growing and seeing us grow and helping us grow and being a part of this journey, because together we are Combat News and we're helping out veterans. And we're not asking for money. We don't do this for monetary gain. We don't do this for clicks. We do this because our brothers and sisters need it. We need it. And yes, absolutely. By vets for vets. That's plain and simple. Nothing else to it. So getting into our last topic today is suicide prevention plan. All right, now guys, New York State Suicide Prevention Act Action Plan 2026 to 2029 marks a major strategic pivot. Historically, suicide prevention focused almost exclusively on clinical intervention, essentially waiting for veterans to be in a mental health crisis before providing a doctor or a hospital bed. So let me read that one more time. Exclusively on clinical intervention, essentially waiting for a veteran to be in a mental health crisis before providing a doctor or a hospital bed. So the new 3-year plan focuses on social determinants of health. Okay, this approach treats suicide as a public health issue rather than just a medical one, which, we've talked about plenty of times. It targets the environmental conditions that cause despair before a veteran becomes suicidal. Before, we got to reach it before, ladies and gentlemen. We cannot, I repeat, we cannot wait. Okay. We got to hit it before. The strategy, moving upstream. Social determinants are the non-medical factors that influence health outcomes. Okay. This is the plan. The New York Office of Mental Health is coordinating with agencies like the Department of Labor and Homes and Community Renewal to address economic stability, debt unemployment, and food insecurity, housing stability, preventing eviction and ending veteran homelessness, social connectedness, combating the isolation that often follows military separation. How this helps the veteran? By focusing on the roots of the problem. The state aims to create a safety net that catches veterans long before they reach that clinical emergency room. So we're going to see, because that's what we need. It addresses the why. Many veterans don't experience illness as much as they experience untenable life experiences. You know what I mean? If a veteran is suicidal because they are about to lose their home, a 72-hour psychiatric code is not going to solve the problem. Fixing their housing does. Fixing their situations. I always say veterans don't need a handout. Okay, we need a hand up. You know what I mean? We don't need a handout. A handout's going to do nothing. We're never asked for a handout. I don't want anybody to think we're asking for a handout. We just need a hand up. If we're ever in a tough spot, we're not asking for a handout. I say it again. We're asking for a hand up. Hallelujah. Amen. That's what I'm saying.
Amen.
I'm just telling you.
Right.
I mean, right, Bill? You know what I'm saying? You
Absolutely.
see a lot, you get a lot more out of it, right?
Well, and most importantly, like a peer-to-peer program like that, it's outside of the VA. It complements the VA clinical care by strengthening the non-clinical community-based support network, right? That often serves as the first point of engagement for the veteran in distress. He's not going to go in a clinical thing in the community when he's out talking with his buddies. That's when it's going to come out. And that's the initial point. Then it drives into the clinical programs after that. But the peer-to-peer program really drives the interaction that creates the message of this is good for you. That's why we're there, man. To get the first line of defense.
What I like about this is that New York State, and that's why I hope that this is all, I'm going to make sure, and we're going to keep following up with this, because it says proactive transition support. And why this is up here is because the plan targets the first 12 months after discharge, the high risk period, as they call it. You know what I mean? The first 12 months. I think that's huge. That if that's what they're doing, and they're saying, okay, we see the problem, we see that there's an ongoing issue, where do we jump in? Boom. Let's jump in. As soon as they get out, let's jump in for the first 12 months, stay with them. Boom, 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 intense. I could dig it. By ensuring veterans are immediately connected to jobs and communities, programs, activities, rather than waiting for them to struggle and then intervene. Proactive, right? Proactive. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? So this is some of the things that they are doing here in New York. Well, that's what Kathy Hochul says that they're pushing and doing with the State of the Union. Culturally responsive care. It allocates funds to organizations that understand military culture, ensuring that help doesn't feel like an alien, civilian-led process. I could dig it. I hope it works that way. We don't,
as long as it dovetails into the VA's already established guidelines and framework for VA suicide. They have an entire booklet put together, pages and pages and pages about also. So as long as they're not recreating the wheel, because they spent a ton of money explaining in great detail exactly what the suicide prevention plan is for the VA. So
we are blessed.
As long as they're not doing any of this again, I'm fine with it.
And we're blessed with with the amount of help that we have in our area to help bring awareness to 22 a day, help to hopefully stop somebody from falling victim of the 22 a day. Because if you have an issue, ladies and gentlemen, especially in our area, reach out to us. we'll get you to an organization that can help with stuff, because sometimes it's, people get down and out because they, money got tight and they couldn't pay their mortgage. They couldn't pay their rent. They couldn't get groceries. They can't get presents for a birthday or something like that. If you're honest, you honestly need some daggone help. Listen, we got you. We're going to find a spot for you. Veterans, you don't need to worry and suffer. To think that that is the end all be all, please just know that we are all here for you. And it seems like New York State wants to step up a little bit. They're hearing our battle cries. They're hearing the civilian population sticking up for us, which is a blessing, I believe, because anybody can be in a situation where they don't feel good and they don't feel like they belong. But what I tell people all the time is it's okay to not be okay. You know what I mean? It's normal to feel defeated. When you are going through trials and tribulations, my fellow veterans, just remember when you tell yourself, this is a lot that I'm going through. There's no way I can make it out of this. This hurdle I can't jump. Remember that you've said that a time or two before, and you've jumped that hurdle. You've got through the hardest thing you said you could ever go through. You got to that light that you said you can't see the light at the end of the tunnel. You've talked that rhetoric before. I know I've done it. Bill, you've done it.
Yep.
But guess what?
The most important thing is you don't do a long-term solution to a short-term problem.
Absolutely.
Every problem you got can be worked out. It's not long-term. A long-term solution is not being around to solve the problem.
That's right. Amen. No, amen, man. And so they also have, how could this hurt the veteran? Okay. The shift away from a purely clinical model carries specific risks if not managed correctly. What do you think about that, Bill?
Well, no, a shift away from a clinical model. What do you mean shift away? It's a complementary piece of the pie. You're not shifting anything away. This is where people get lost in the words. We're not in this kind of program taking away anything from the clinical or the claims model. That is totally separate from the peer-to-peer engagement process that's outside of the VA or any of these other organizations that are going to clamp down and tell you what to do. That's what you don't want, literally.
Yeah. So that is no bueno, ladies and gentlemen, whoever wrote that in. We don't believe that it does shift. Yeah, I don't believe that. Don't be concerned.
So it's a complementary service. Don't think that through. Yeah. That's insane. It's not one or the other.
No.
Not or and, exactly.
Yep. Yeah.
Another thing
here's another thing. The dilution, right? Am I saying the word right? Dilution.
Be diluted.
To be diluted. How do you say it? Dilution?
Dilution, yeah. The dilution. Yes.
Yeah, okay. That's what they use the word again. Dilution of clinical resources. There is a danger that shifting funding towards what they call, quote unquote, and they put it in quotes, social programs might take away from the high-intensity psychiatric care needed for those with severe PTSD or TBIs. Social support cannot replace a psychiatrist for someone in acute biological crisis. What do you say about that, Mr. Bill?
Dude, where are these people coming from?
These are from veterans. These are actual veterans, bro.
Really?
I'm just telling you, yes.
So you're saying
whether they're playing devil's advocate or not, these are actual, hey, what do you feel?
These
Pros,
are actual
cons.
critics. These are actual
They're
critics.
Actual veterans that replied back via
you
email
read,
and said, hey, this is what I feel. Absolutely. Dilution of clinical resources. There is a danger that shifting funding towards social programs might take away from the high-intensity psychiatric care needed for those with severe PTSD or traumatic brain injuries, TBI. Social support cannot replace a psychiatrist for someone in an acute biological crisis.
Okay. Understood. They're kind of mixing metaphors here. The VA gets money federally, a state-based peer program will not affect any funding, period. End of story. It's a complimentary service. The state is giving complimentary funds to the VA's clinical practices. There's no missing. The funds don't come from the
Now,
same place.
right, and this says so. Just so people know, and whoever wrote this, when you're listening back to it, you can understand. This says from New York State Suicide Prevention Action Plan, a new 3-year cross-agency plan is targeting social determinants, right? Determinants, yeah, of veteran suicide, such as housing instability and financial insecurity, rather than just clinical treatments.
Right. So they're saying in that sentence, they're saying, hey, man, besides these other factors that we know, what else determines veteran suicide? Okay. So what
Yes.
other soft factors beyond these very hard factors we know? What other soft factors contribute to this that we're looking for? We can tell you that. All of these things are
Yes.
already done. You don't need a 3-year study to do this, dude. Give us a weekend.
No. It's a 3-year plan. No, they're pushing this out over 3 years. The action plan. That's what they're pushing out.
To implement this?
This is being pushed. This is through the state of the state, my brother.
So this is going to be implemented through what? Where? Who?
A new 3-year cross-agency plan. Cross agencies. The state's going to fund agencies across.
To come up with what?
Targeting social determinants of veteran suicide, such as housing instability, affordable housing for veterans. We talked about that. Financial insecurity. I don't know what the hell they're going to do with that. Maybe pop up some more. Here's some.
No,
I'm not.
They're actually looking for the risk factors that create veteran suicide in New York State.
Right, but what they're saying is that it's so. Are they? They're. I hope it. Yeah, it's just.
They want to
I'm
find
not saying
more
that
risk
it's
factors.
bad. I'm not saying that it's a bad thing.
I think they're spending money on that's insane. Because we can tell you what the determining factors are for veteran suicide. There's about 7,000 studies. You don't even have to do a 3-year rollout of a study to determine in New York State what the soft factors of veteran suicide are. We can literally tell you them. There's 95 studies out there that will tell you that. Why? Do you need to know it in Chemung County?
I'm with you.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, hold on for a second. I'll pull it up. In Chemung County, there are, but you know what I'm saying? It's like,
yeah. Well, we need to make sure that the money is going to places that are actually going to be helping with the suicide prevention.
Right. So the 3-year rollout plan to figure out if it's going to work is a waste of money.
Well, I hope while they roll it out, they're actually doing something.
Sarge, what they're saying in that is that, yes, we know that housing is a determining factor. And yes, we know that getting out of the military is a determining factor. And yes, we know that, not having a job is a determining factor. What else? Maybe his girlfriend broke up with him. Maybe he's conflicted about moving. Maybe those are all these soft factors they're going to put in a chart and in rank and say, yeah, that helped determine it. That we already know what all those things are. There's 95 studies that tell you exactly what that is. They don't need to spend a dime on that.
Well, they need to make sure that the money's going properly, and we at Combat News
will ensure peer-to-peer programs. Don't spend on figuring out where the peer-to-peer programs work.
And us at Combat News, I'm just like, we're going to make sure that this is squared away, guys. I mean, we understand and we appreciate people engaging. I've been sending out through some emails that people have been sending. They said, hey, I'm trying to find veterans that are interested in doing surveys pretty much. So if you are ever interested into our surveys, how we get this information, I am trying to build an email list of people. We don't share it. We're not, we ain't about that. Trust me, I'm a combo guy. I don't play that security. I don't, nah, man. So please, if you want to be a part of it, let us know. I'll make an ad out there or whatever you call that on Facebook, put it out there. If you want to be part of the email list to give us some clarity from a veteran standpoint, how you feel about things that we're bringing up, things that come up, please let us know. Bill, what do you think about that? Don't you think that's a good idea? Then we can continue to hear it from veterans, actual veterans that would have affected by this stuff. You know what I mean? It's not us saying it.
That's the most important thing. When we say boots on the ground, we're not talking just ours. We're talking
Hmm.
yours because together we are combat news. So your stories are our stories. And that's how our stories become better policy is by getting them all together, making sense of it, and presenting it as a platform for thought.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yes. Another thing that came out with this, with this thing that I was interested in is there's a veteran mobile units. Outreach vans are currently touring the state. Buffalo on January 18th, which already passed. Mount Vernon on January 22nd, which is tomorrow, to help veterans file claims in person. I thought that was pretty dope. So you telling me that we got vans starting to roll out in New York State that
That's cool.
help with filing claims?
Yeah,
Epic.
because
Great job, New
we have
York
that
State.
one we got that one van that sits at the Veterans Service Center, right? I've never seen that move. I've never seen that move once.
I don't know. It's probably got flat tires. Who knows? I've
Right,
never
but
heard of
yeah,
this, and I think it's cool. I think this is a
that's
great
very
thing.
cool.
I think it's
Dude,
excellent. Kudos
taking
to New
claims
York.
to you. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a house call
Absolutely.
for claims.
I
Awesome.
think the people here in Monroe County that listen to Combat News, we know once we share this out, we know the powers to be. We know a lot of people listen to it, support us, care about what we're saying. This right here, veteran mobile units outreach, what they're doing here. I don't know if it's a pilot program, but either way, this, you want to make a difference, put this in Monroe County. Legislators, if you're listening, put this in our county. I mean, shoot, that is amazing. You're telling me that you can, like, I'm just thinking, you can pull up to 55 and older communities. You can pull up to nursing homes. You can pull up to, come on, man. Think about how many veterans we're saving and helping. We're helping them. We're helping their families so they don't got to find answers by themselves. They don't use social media, man. They're not going to hop in their car when it's negative 15-degree wind chill outside. Let's help them out, man. This is perfect. Thank you, New York State, for that.
Yeah. Plus, Sarge, this is a great way to get out there and talk about the 40% of possibly underreported veterans and all of that information. This would be a perfect way to complement that whole census thing by getting boots on the ground data right from the people. That'd be perfect. That would really
Absolutely.
help. As long as
Absolutely.
the data is not shared, in the right, in the correct ways, that'd be perfect. Man.
Also, we have New York State Advocacy Day scheduled for March 14th, forgive me, March 4th, 2026 in Albany, focusing heavily on veteran mental health legislation. So just wanted to put that out there. Nationally, the community is navigating a transition in federal policy and the implementation of the 2026 budget. Obviously, we all know the 2026 COLA increase, ladies and gentlemen, effectively it was January 1. Everything increased 2.8%. It states here to match the Social Security cost of living adjustment. VA staffing and job cuts was mentioned. There's a significant tension regarding a plan to eliminate roughly 25,000 VA positions nationwide. I don't know if you heard about that, Bill. Do you know anything about that? It says in
Yeah.
early January, nurses and veteran groups held rallies, including in the Bronx, to protest these cuts, citing concerns over increased wait times and a push towards privatization. I know we've talked about that. We've talked about the privatization of it, but what do you feel about that as far as and what have you heard? Because the media likes to throw out a big number and be like, look it. But is this gonna hurt? Do you think it's gonna hurt? Do we know if it's if it's gonna bother us or anything? What do we know about this?
25,000, are you sure those aren't going to be the early retirements that are coming from the early people that we're talking about that opted out or that just decided not, that I have not heard one thing about the veterans or VA firing anybody. The whole thing was we're going to do a force reduction. And when they talked about that, they had so many volunteers that they didn't need to get rid of anybody. Actually, they're in a hiring mode to put the right people back in the right places from the people that left. Okay. The issue is that the people that are going are landscapers and, things like that are just not necessary to be on the VA's dole. It just doesn't make any sense for the VA to pay for things that aren't in the best interest of the veteran care. That's what they're doing. It's okay if they realign some resources out of the unnecessary things and into veteran care,
Yeah.
sure.
Right.
And listen, do you think that the veterans agent, the VA right now, is going to sit there and fire a bunch of nurses? Does that
No.
make any sense to you at all?
No.
No. No, their whole focus is to get better care for the veteran. They're probably going to realign some people out of non-care based. Fine. That's
Right.
exactly
Like
what we want to do.
death by
Make them more
PowerPoint
efficient.
positions.
Yeah, make them more efficient. No
Yeah.
one's talking to us. You know what I mean? If
Yeah.
these aren't people aren't, if they're not
That's how I
veteran
was looking at it.
engaged people, they shouldn't be there.
Right. Yeah.
And they're
I
not going to
agree.
be the forward care people, guaranteed.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
No. It just doesn't seem like some of these concerns, on a national scale, people need to realize that they're going to use us veterans as a scare tactic.
Yeah.
We're always going to be used as a scare tactic, ladies and gentlemen. Don't ever think that we are not. You know what I'm saying? So when they throw this big number, out there, don't be concerned about that.
Yeah, if you listen to the politicians, the VA is the whipping boy. It's always been the whipping boy. It's either going to be veterans this or their benefits that or claims this. It's always the VA and the whipping boy.
Yeah.
When you start dialing down through the rhetoric and you get down to the actual details, you realize that most of that stuff doesn't really matter because the budget's already been passed last year. I mean, it's just a lot doesn't make any sense when you actually know the process, right?
Yeah, and protesting and all that stuff like that, man, I don't know about. I'm not familiar with what happened when they refer to, what happened in the Bronx, to be honest with you. And nor, yes, I care, but no, I don't. I don't know. I don't want to say above my pay grade, you know what I'm saying? But it's not something that here at Combat News, and especially in Rochester, and I'm sure other areas don't really care when groups, if we don't know about it, if you don't know about it as a listener, if we don't know about this stuff, about a rally in the Bronx and all that stuff, we have to always take it with a grain of salt and believe that it's just a group pushing out or false information, scare tactic. We do our due diligence. Let's do our due diligence and make sure. And like Bill said, how do we know it's not the early retirement? How do we know it's not people doing this? How do we know it's not the people that are janitors or cleaning or doing death by PowerPoint presentations for us? We don't know.
You don't know.
We don't know.
So it's very easy. It's very easy to latch onto a headline and have a visceral emotional response without having any of the data. So that's why you always wait to react.
Yes. And, and we all got to learn that. We all got to learn that together. We got to keep each other accountable. We can't be running around acting crazy. We're not going to get our point across. Another thing that I have here nationally, everybody, is the PACT Act today. The focus has shifted from enrollment drives to managing the massive influx of claims. The VA is now utilizing, guess what, guys? And we've talked about this before. I know Bill hit on this, utilizing ambient AI in clinics to help doctors process patient notes faster to keep up with the increased volume of PACT Act-related visits. What?
And one of the greatest things is that one of the greatest things with the PACT Act is to make the efficiency that the VA is implementing in this particular case is that when you get out, they are going to predetermine you to have these things in your disability file based on your service time. It's predetermined. You walk in with a percentage of disability versus having to claim and then prove the fact that the obvious, right?
Yeah, so that goes hand in hand with the AI scribes part of it. They're trying to get everything over to helping streamline the system by using an AI. And what they did say when I looked into it, because me being a commo guy, was that I didn't realize the different types of AI. You know what I mean? That's new age stuff, so I'm learning it. But what their kind of AI is going to be is not like a data sending out, collecting, blah, blah, blah. It's just to help manage people get through the system faster to get the final outcome that we're ultimately going to get without using people and paper and filing and emailing and all that, which I think is a blessing. Like Bill said, if you were served during this time and this time, and we know that these people have tinnitus, guess what? You got tinnitus.
Oh, yeah, it's all about the burn pitch.
Too
You are
easy.
presupposed
Well, yeah,
based on
everything.
that to have an
Yep.
autoimmune scenario. I mean, it's just guaranteed. It just rolls right in. Where you, Sarge, when you had to like, hey man, I got to prove I got this stuff. It's like, whoa.
Yes.
Now it's just slipped right in.
Yeah, so I think that is awesome that we're going to be doing that kind of stuff. And then, like I said, guys, this is still on a national level. I know you guys know at Combat News we hit on New York stuff. We do believe that New York, sets a tone for a lot of things that happen at the
Not a good
national
one
level.
sometimes.
Yeah. Well, it was. Yeah. Well, as far as veterans, we always see that we do a lot more for veterans here in New York than other states do. So we are blessed in that way. We just got to make sure that these politicians aren't using that for their advantage, for their friends' advantage, to grease the wheel. We want to make sure that every dollar we can have go to the veterans and the mission goes to that mission.
Exactly.
That's all we care about. So starting this month, education verification. And I talked to Blank actually at school today, so he can't be on this. He is going to follow up with this. Follow up with us on this. Starting this month, January, all GI Bill beneficiaries, including Chapter 35, ladies and gentlemen, are now required to verify their enrollment monthly. Did you hear that? Monthly. To receive
VRE
payments.
has a monthly?
It says a change from previous years. So it comes from the Doge stuff. All these changes about money, healthcare, it all comes from Doge seeing bad things happening in the money. So now they're saying, okay, checks and balances time. So yes, every month. So in that case, going back to what our governor is trying to do with SUNY CUNY campuses, having somebody during every month to have that panic time or whatever they call that, high intensity time, would probably be this, right? It'd probably be, Ben, okay, get all your shit in. We got to have it ready or you're not going to be able to be, okay, that'd be cool. Why do we have this? I don't know. Probably because somebody messed it up for everybody else.
Basically because VRE, the 30 chapter for 5, right? VRE is a very good program. It basically pays you a stipend for going to college, and it pays for your college, and it pays for your college equipment and supplies. So it's a very nice program. So if someone puts in that they're taking a full load of college courses, right? They're going full time, they're getting a pretty significant amount of money to go to college. If there's no checks and balances on that in the VRE program, right, then you can see that as a necessary evil there for sure.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. Another thing we have, because, man, this show is going good, man. We got some good information coming out today, Bill. Golly, we on fire. So, sticking on a national level, we have the expansion of whole life insurance. All right, guys, this is important. Excuse me. I love my older veterans. You know that. I love you guys. I feel like I'm an old soul because I'm broken down and I'm old. All right. I feel it in my bones. The VA Life Program, which offers guaranteed accepted life insurance for veterans with service-connected disabilities. Okay, I'm going to read that for you one more time. The VA Life Program, which offers guaranteed acceptance life insurance for veterans with service-connected disabilities, is marking its 3rd year with a major push. That's great. But it's to reach more veterans over the age of 80. God bless them. Let's finally take care of the ones that need to. like if we're 80, come on, man. I mean, I don't want to harp on some. I'm glad they're taking the initiative. I'm glad they're doing it. But 80, Bill, that's a high number, bro. Like if you're not reaching, if they don't notice and they're not getting help by 80.
So they're saying
bad.
that they're reaching out for the folks over 80 to get their life insurance because regardless of their age and their service-connected disability, it's not going to cost them any more.
Yeah, which offers guaranteed, acceptance life insurance for veterans with service.
Does it say how much is the death benefit?
With a major push to reach more veterans. So why are they doing a major push to reach more veterans over 80? What does that benefit? I'm not an old, I don't know how this all works, but what does that benefit them to reach out to more veterans over the age of 80? Does that make sense?
They want to get the older veterans to make sure that they're taken care of with their death benefits. Plus, there's another thing. Like, for example, when my dad passed, right, and he was service connected at like 10% for tinnitus, whatever. My mom really had no idea what the VA could do for her as far as his death benefits, his burial, and that is a very difficult time to try to navigate a very difficult set of documentation. So that right there, I think, is a true benefit. Is if you go out to the older veterans, like my dad, for example, and say to him, "Hey, Dad, this is what you have available to you to take advantage of if you so desire." At least knowing what is there and then how to access it would be huge. I don't think he needed the life insurance, which would have been great, but at least the how to access the death benefits, as far as the burial, as far as the money for the burial, because they cover some of that cost. I don't know how it all works. My mom handled that, but that would be very good, because I don't know any of that stuff. And I'm closer to it than you is, Sarge. No doubt.
So what do you think at your age, what do you think is the thing that would help you the most, as far as getting information and getting all your ducks in a row? Not that I want you to be gone or anything. Oh, drop this. But what do you think for a veteran your age? What do you suggest that they get working on? You know what I'm saying?
I mean, you're talking about their end of life planning?
Yeah, well, I mean, anything that you know of that could help that is VA related that they can get signed up for, or, you suggest them to get, paperwork, you know what I mean? Because obviously, you dealt with the tragic loss of your father, and I'm sure that there was stuff that, whether it's tombstone, whether, you know what I mean? Is there anything or funeral that you learned along the way that you hope that, you wish that if you would have known now, or that you're going to set up for yourself through the VA so your kids don't have to deal with it yourself? Does that make sense what I'm trying to get at? Because I'm not too sure about that.
Yeah, I was not when I wasn't prepared for my dad, right? And so I hadn't done any of that research at all. And when he passed, I certainly didn't spend a lot of time looking at that. I was more, mourning his passage. So when my mom was doing this, I probably should have been doing it, because I probably would have been better at it at the time. But I just didn't focus on it very well. Now, I think that would be a very smart thing to do for all veterans, regardless of their age, is to look at the end of life planning, because the VA does provide a certain amount of things for you. That health insurance is something I want to look into. For me, is it whole life? Is it term? I don't know. I don't know what the death benefit is and how it's paid or whatever. That's something I'm definitely going to look into, because that's something that, and again, Sarge, you and I have talked about before also, as far as trusts. If you set up a trust for your assets, and so that will help dramatically in your estate planning, and far as passing on your assets to your kin without getting hammered tax-wise. So that's another thing to look into for veterans as far as their will and end of life planning.
Yeah, well, that's stuff that I seen that after we had talked about the end of life stuff on our X space, we seen that there was people that took it seriously, which I'm glad. You know what I mean? And whether it was because of us or not, I feel that people realize that this is something that we need to know, and we need to get people to know. But yeah, it's a little crazy, man. It's hard because I deal with it myself.
In the military, they made us all fill out wills, right? We all had to fill out a will. We all had to do all that crap. And, and we all did that, as young kids. We'll never need that, whatever, And I'll bet you $1 to a donut, 50% of veterans have never even updated that. You know what I mean? I got one, I didn't, It's so woefully inadequate now, right? So
yes,
I think that just taking a look at it. I mean, no one wants to deal with death, right? I mean, that sucks. No. But it is a necessary evil. So we have to plan for it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think we did a good show, and I think it's 8:37.
Amen.
When I play this, does it play loud or does it play? I can play it soft.
Well, that plays perfect. I can hear perfect.
Does that play softer?
Way softer.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
How about now?
This ain't no
little
drill,
louder.
this is
A
within the
little bit.
wisdom
I
of
wanna talk.
ages.
I wanna talk about
Battle-hardened and
something.
true. Combat
While
news
the
on
music
the
is
air,
playing, does
breaking
it
through
work?
for me
Can
and
you
you.
hear me?
We're boots on the ground,
you
voices
wanna turn it
strong
down
and clear,
just
cutting through the
perfect.
static,
I wanna see
conquering
if I
every
can do
fear.
it.
Monroe
Work with
County
me
to
for a second.
NYs.
There you
Our
go.
message rings
Right
out
there.
wide for every
All right, you
soldier,
can hear
every
me?
family standing side
All
by
right, turn it
side.
down just a little bit. Hold on, just a little bit. Work right there. All right. So while this is playing, this is our theme song. I got a little sit rep, man. So I wrote this. Listen up, team. We spend our lives operating under the creed that we never leave a person behind on the battlefield. And that mission doesn't just end when we hang up a uniform. All right? Today, the high ground isn't just a ridge or a rooftop. It's the collective knowledge we hold. When one of us finds a path to better health care, a breakthrough in benefits, or a strategy to secure our family's financial legacies, it's our duty to pass that intel down the line. We are a force multiplier. When we bridge that gap between me and us, we turn individual struggles into a unified front for progress. We need to secure the perimeter, we need logistical support, and we need to hold the line. So together, we're going to make it happen. Combat News, this is our second episode. This is our theme song. Slowly we're getting better for you. For you, your families, for us as a community. It's one team, one fight, man. And I can't do it without all of you. I can't do it without my co-host Bill, my team, and the support that we have in the community. So just know that we're here for you, and we're all Combat News, right, Bill?
We are Combat News. Vet, vote.
That's right, man. God bless you all, man. You guys have a great night, and we will talk to you next time. And remember, Conversations with Sarge. Get your names in there, man. Get your organizations in there. We're going to make it happen, man. Combat News 2026 is going to be big. It's going to be big for the veteran community. Let's have our voice. It's us, man. It's us against the world. Let's stick together. Don't rely on anybody else but your veteran community. Stand strong, stand firm, dig your heels in, and vets vote, man. God bless you guys, man.
Combat News.
Absolutely. Have a great night, everybody. See ya.